Today, DEC finally lifted the lid on plans to revise RO support for ground mount solar in the UK. Talk of which dominated Solar Media's large-scale Solar UK conference in Newark, with many speakers expressing frustration at DEC's apparent change of heart.
And all of you, as myself, will have been reading with concern about the indications that DEC is about to announce another RO review into large-scale solar. That sends out ripples of concern. Concern that this government may, for whatever reason one might like to conjecture about, be on the point of doing to large-scale solar what it so idiotically did to small-scale PV back in 2011-2012.
I found out that we had installed large-scale in the UK 1,085 megawatts in the first quarter. And immediately, and I don't know how many of you agree with this, I had two overriding, completely polar opposite responses in my head. The first one was, wow, that is an absolutely amazing result from a standing start, and something that we should be amazingly proud of, not something that we should be embarrassed about, which brings me to the other emotion. Shit. The government's going to see this. What's the government going to do? We are a nation that rather than embraces and rewards massive deployment, we're one that throws stones at it. Rather than reward it financially, it penalizes. And it's completely counterintuitive.
Now, if I was a politician, I would say, this is wonderful news. We should be going out to say we back every part of solar, etc., because this is going to win us votes. So why aren't they? Right? There's something wrong. There's some common sense missing.
To me, to be honest, this is unbelievable. And if I was a government minister here at this conference looking out at you, at what this industry is doing, I would be checking in with myself to see just how smart it is to let one's policy be driven by a short-term, totally expedient fear of UKIP rather than by a long-term commitment to building the interests of the companies involved in this sector and the interests of the UK over the long term.
And we were given the certainty that there would be no changes to those numbers, right? In the House of Commons, Mr. Fallon, the Energy Minister responsible for ROCs, it's not Greg Barker for ROCs, he stood up there and said there would be no changes to ROCs until they ended in 2017. In the meantime, there would be an overlap with CFDs, which, to be honest, avoid until after the next election, because it could well change.
And we built our business with those numbers in mind. And I'm sorry, if you all roll over, because this one is different, I say again, this one is not for economic reasons, this is for political reasons. And if you roll over and you take that, then I think you're going to have to find a new country to go to, because I'm sorry, you're not going to have a future in the UK.
When you're in a difficult place with a rival political party, you make all sorts of decisions that are clearly not based on evidence and, in my opinion, not based on common sense. That aside that David Cameron is reputed to have said when looking at what his government wanted to do on energy issues, where he described what we're all passionate about as green crap. That little aside, that verbal mistake, if you like, summarizes a deep contradiction at the heart of that political party.
The other point I think that the government is choosing to hide behind is this, we're going to cut, we're going to sort of abuse large-scale solar, but we're going to focus on large-scale roof, and we're going to focus on domestic. Guys, they need to land their spaceship. Honestly, it is the assumption that you can go from 1 gigawatt and a quarter of large-scale to the same in roof is absolutely fundamental. I mean, they need their bumps felt.
Hopefully there's much that we can still do to try and offset, to mitigate the degree to which that risk damages the commercial prospects of this industry. We know that risk doesn't help in any respect whatsoever.
The potential for this market worldwide, and therefore UK as a subset of the world, is absolutely enormous. And we can't let short-sighted, vote-oriented decisions blinker that view. At the end of the day, what we've got on our side is right. We are definitely right to be doing this, and it is not right to be supporting other carbon-based technologies. We're killing the planet. And at the end of the day, even the Daily Mail reader eventually will get to that realization, but it's about us giving the ammunition to those individuals in a clear and concise way to make sure that we gather momentum.
This industry in this country is going to be a massive contributor to what every country needs to achieve as fast as possible. That's the deal. And it's an amazing story to keep one's eyes focused on, even as we necessarily look to one side and the other to see what the wretched politicians are doing.